I just wanted to start the video by saying thank you to everyone who has recently subscribed and shown support on the videos. I really appreciate it. If I've met you in game, drop the country you were playing as in the comments below. Let's see which countries people play the most. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Every country is different, with varying numbers of cities and a unique mix of coastal and inland cities. So in this video, I'm going to cover 3 different strategies depending on your situation. There will be timestamps in the description. Starting off, we'll cover how I would play day 1 as a country with no coastal cities. Chad. When you first load into a match as Chad or a similarly situated country, the first thing I would do is begin research on basic infantry. Next, I would place a recruiting office in each of my cities. Once the basic infantry research is completed, I would then research the infantry officer unit. This is because the infantry officer unit, although expensive, is a long-term investment for the rest of the game. It can almost negate the 25% defense bonus a garrison city has. The reason for this is that the infantry officer provides a 15% bonus to attack, speed, and defense for the whole stack he is part of. After that, I would build an army base in each of my cities, followed by producing the infantry officer in one city and regular infantry units in the remaining ones. If manpower is currently your limiting factor, don't worry. Just produce the units later when it becomes possible. Next, I would research the gunship helicopter. Once that's underway, I'd build an arms industry in my capital to enable production once the research is complete. I'd also build arms industries in my electronics and fuel cities, as those resources are often an issue in the early game. After some time has passed and more resources start coming in, I would build another airbase in my electronics city, allowing me to produce up to 5 choppers over the course of a day. Early on, this can serve as a devastating defense and an even better tool for attacking. In the meantime, I'd look to see if any of my neighbors are inactive or currently engaged in a war I can take advantage of. If you're playing as Chad, your central location in Africa is only advantageous if you can successfully invade surrounding areas and establish a defensive border. This gives you more time to react and puts you in a stronger position, especially with your gunships. Keep in mind that gunships are most easily countered by air superiority fighters, so it's wise to build a stack or 2 of those to secure complete air dominance. While working to invade your neighbors, make sure you're upgrading your arms industries whenever possible. A strong economy is essential when relying on air units, especially in your electronics producing cities. This strategy is most effective when you team up with surrounding nations, allowing you to create stronger defensive boundaries and more breathing room to expand. Now that you're on your way to securing Africa, it's a good time to move on to the next strategy in this video, the best way to start as an island nation. For this example, we'll be using the United Kingdom. I've seen so many players take on the UK without building a navy, and it's a critical mistake, a complete waste of your potential. When playing as the United Kingdom, you need to understand that if you don't have a stronger navy than your attacker, you're likely doomed. To avoid this, I personally like to start by building recruiting offices in every city, ensuring a long-term manpower surplus. I then build arms industries in my fuel, electronics, and component cities, followed by upgrading the ports in my electronics and fuel cities. This sets you up perfectly for when you research frigates on day 2. It's also worth mentioning that in the current season, we have access to the elite frigate once the standard one is researched. While a bit more expensive, elite frigates are excellent additions to any fleet, offering significant bonuses and benefits. Playing as the UK, you have the advantage of being able to remain solo for a while before seeking allies, thanks to your separation from mainland Europe and the fact that Ireland is an AI-controlled nation. In my opinion, it's best to hold off on attacking until you have at least 1 frigate stationed at every coastal city. It's even better if you have a group of elite frigates at home or prepared as your offensive force. While both standard and elite frigates offer a decent amount of air coverage, it's always wise to invest in mobile anti-air defense units, both for homeland defense and offensive operations abroad. This is because, unlike SAMs, mobile anti-air units can engage and damage enemy helicopters, which is crucial when facing an organized opponent. I just want to briefly interrupt this video to announce that my friends and I have recently created a Discord server to help both new and experienced players find groups. Conflict of Nations is a game best played with reliable teammates, especially ones who can cover the fronts you'd rather not or aren't able to. If you're interested, there's a link in the description below. And now, onto our final type of nation, the mixed type. Today, we'll be using Peru as our example. As with 3 coastal and 3 inland cities, it serves as the perfect middle ground. Much like the UK, I've seen time and time again players build up their coastal city infrastructure, only to leave it empty and completely vulnerable to naval bombardment. Not only is this a complete waste of time when those structures are destroyed, but it can also be game ending if you're up against a competent opponent. In my opinion, anytime I have multiple coastal cities, I always prioritize getting at least a frigate in each before becoming overly aggressive. This isn't to say you shouldn't take advantage of inactive players or seize a good opportunity to third party, but playing conservatively can help you improve in the long term rather than chasing instant gratification through constant, unplanned aggression. When it comes to infrastructure, I'd recommend prioritizing arms industries in your fuel, component, and electronic cities. Even better if one of those cities is coastal, since you can upgrade its port and eventually produce frigates there. When playing a mixed nation, it's all about capitalizing on your current situation. What I mean by this is, if you see your neighbor has a level 2 air base, you can infer they're likely producing strike fighters, prompting you to start producing their counter. The best advice I can give when playing this type of nation is to stay malleable, adapt, and take advantage of your neighbor's weaknesses. Whether that means focusing on air and ground forces with a minimal navy, or throwing your troops into cities as meat for the grinder, it all depends on the context. But unfortunately, that's all I have time for today. So with that, thank you for watching, and don't let me catch you with unmanned ports. Goodbye.